Hello everyone, Andrew here with a new YouTube video. The support has been amazing, so thank you guys for that. In this one, because I have been getting this question quite a lot, I want to talk about how I manage my portfolio. So if you've been following me, you probably know that I'm trading around $5.5 million now in prop firm capital. So not real capital, just capital from different prop firms. I am max funded with almost all the prop firms that are available and are trustworthy. I did my reviews on them basically in my $4 million portfolio video. I will be posting a new video with the updated portfolio, which is currently sitting at around 5.6 million, and then I will basically share my thoughts on prop firms there. But in this video I want to talk about that question that I get asked so often, and if I use a trade copier. So because my portfolio is quite big, $5.5 million, which is around, I think, maybe 20 accounts, I'm not even sure, to be honest, 15-20 accounts. It's very hard to trade all of them. So how do I trade them? Basically, I figured that if I have such a big portfolio, if you know, I've been focusing on just gaining more capital while maintaining the same 1 to 2 to 3% profit every single month, but just increasing the capital, so that way the money that comes in is bigger because of the capital. So after scaling at around, let's say, $1 to $2 million, it already got a little bit harder to track all the accounts and basically trade them. So what I did was took a step back, like I always do, and then thought about how I can manage the portfolio in the best way possible. So at first, the way I did it is something that not a lot of traders do. I don't really see it. Most traders just throw all the accounts on one trade copier and they just trade one account, and then all the trades get copied to all their other accounts, which is a good thing. But with prop firms especially, you only can lose 5% in a day and then 10% overall. So what happens if you have a very, let's say, very bad losing streak? Maybe the market just doesn't go in your favor, maybe you're just tilted, maybe you're not focused, maybe you cannot trade good, and then let's say you lose 10%. You lose all the capital that you worked so hard from. And I know a few guys that had $1-2 million in capital and they lost all of it just because they went on a bad losing streak. So that's just not a good way of managing a portfolio, just because it's not good to put all the eggs in one basket. So the way I did it at first was just trade each account, because I am more of a day trader, so I'm not really a swing trader. Yes, of course, I do take very high quality setups, maybe 1 to 2 setups a week, but I do like to trade intraday, to take, let's say, London trades or New York trades, just a quick 1-to-1, 1-to-2, 10-15 pips, not more. So because I like to trade every day and make profits, I couldn't just connect all the accounts to one trade copier and then just take all the trades on all the accounts, because that was too much of a risk for me. So what I did was trade each account individually. So let's say I have 5 200k accounts funded. I just trade the first one intraday. Maybe I take a trade, let's say today, London session, I make 0.5%. That's perfectly fine. I leave the account like it is and then go on to the next account. So on the next account, let's say I find another good setup the next day or the same day New York session. I take the setup, 0.5% risk or 1% risk, depending on if I'm up for the month or not. I take that setup and let's say that's a win also. So I make 1% on the account. That's amazing, right? I just leave the account on the side and move on to the third account. So let's say on the third account, I take one loss. Let's say I lose 1%. That's perfectly fine, because as I said, I already have 2 accounts that are, let's say, plus 1.5% that are ready for the payout. So I'm not really trading those accounts, right? I'm just leaving them there for the payout split, which is usually every 2 weeks. So now I'm trading basically the third account, which is in drawdown. So I'm trading that account, I'm checking the trades, all the trades that I have on that specific account until I can get it in profit. So let's say I take 1 more loss or 2 more losses, down 3%, then I take 3 more wins and the account is up 1% or 2%. Then I set the account aside and move on to the fourth account. So now I have 3 accounts ready for the payout and I move on the fourth account. And the fourth account, again, go all over again. Once I make profit, I leave the account, move on to the fifth one. I make some profit, I leave the account. Now, if I do this, let's say 5 accounts and I make 1% each in 1 week, I still have 1 week left until the payout split. So this is where I basically decide what to do. When I had less capital, so when I was around $1-2 million in capital, I knew that I had, let's say 5% of 1 million, which is, let's say $30,000 in profit split on the funded account that I made in 1 week. So what I did was I left the accounts there, and because I didn't have any account to trade on, I didn't have any more funded account, I was at break even, I didn't want to risk the profits that I made to make more profits, because the greed always kills you in the Forex trading space. So what I did was I left the accounts there until the profit split date, and I knew, because I knew I had, let's say, $20,000 or like I said $30,000 coming in, then I used half of it to buy more challenges and then trade those challenges in the week until the payout split, if that makes sense. So because I don't like missing any setups, I didn't have any funding accounts, all the funding accounts was in profit. So what I did was I used the money that was gonna come in to buy more challenges, to trade them, to make profit, and basically pass them and get more capital in, and then I repeated the process. I hope that makes sense. So I did that because I didn't like having all the risk in one basket, because let's say maybe I lose one account, I get on a really bad lose streak and I lose it after 1 month. It's perfectly fine, but I don't lose all the account. Now things have changed quite a bit because I've talked with other platform traders and they basically said it's better to just copy all the trades. And yeah, I gave a little bit of thoughts on that. It worked. That model that I traded was working very good for me. So trade each account individually. But once I got above $4 million, $5 million, 20 accounts is just so hard to trade them one by one, because you're not having enough setup. So you end up taking the same setup on 2 or 3 accounts, which is basically copying the trades. But again, it was just so hard to manage. So what I started doing since last month was let's say, because I have $5 million in funded capital, I took basically $3 million of my $5 million into a trade copier hooked to one main personal account at IC Markets, the broker I use. And then basically I just took very high quality setups on only that account that was hooked to all $3 million, risking 0.5% to 1%. So that was just, I set that as my main portfolio, because that's why I always say trading is a business, so you know how to manage things. Once you get a lot of capital, it's all about risk management and capital management. So I decided to put $3 million of my capital onto a trade copier, just take a 1 setup, 2 setups every single week, 0.5% risk, 1% risk, and then just use that to basically make the big money. And then I have the rest of my capital, which is around $2 million, that I still trade 1 account at a time. But the way I do it now is I try to make as much profit as possible. So I take the accounts, as I said, one by one. Let's say I make 1%, 1%, 1%. Then if the payout split date is still like 1 week away or 2 weeks away, I trade more on the accounts. I use the profits that I used to basically try to make more profit. This way works very good if you have a win streak, because the basically compounding your account, you're making more profits from the profits that you already made, and you can end up having very good months. That's basically how I did 6 figures in profit last month just from trading prop firms, which is, I think, is one of the best results in the industry. And also the amount of capital that I managed to achieve, it's quite a lot. So as a trade copier, as I said, I was using actually social trader tools, which I know a lot of traders do, but I'm currently switching over to Traders Connect because a lot of people recommended it to me. The thing I noticed with social trader tools is that they have quite a small delay. It did happen once or twice where my positions, once the position was not executed, and the second time it happened was it doubled my risk on one account. So that is very bad to have on a trade copier, because instead of losing 1%, I lost 2% on one account just because of the trade copier. And of course, nobody's gonna do anything about it because it's your own fault. So that's why I'm gonna switch to Traders Connect. I'm gonna connect the $3 million in capital over there, and I'm gonna use that to basically trade, have very good quality setups. Now for beginners, I don't really recommend having trade copier. I think that's a very bad idea. For challenges, I started also using the trade copier when I went from basically a few weeks ago, I went from $3 million to $5.5 million in 2 weeks. That's when I basically hooked all the accounts on a trade copier, and I used that to pass phase 1 and phase 2, just because I wanted to have very high quality setups and really focus on passing those accounts. And I did manage to do it with a 100% win rate. I didn't lose any challenge, so that was very good. That's the only time I used a trade copier on challenges. Now I don't really want to use it anymore. But as I said, for beginners, don't try to think about trade copier. A lot of people are asking me, but the only question is how much are you funded with, or how many accounts are you trading that you really need a trade copier. I think you need a trade copier only if you're trading above, let's say, $1 million in funding capital, which is maybe 5-6 accounts, that's the only time where you actually need a trade copier. Until then, your focus needs to be only on making profits. So don't focus on all the technical aspects of it, like what trade copier should I use, what payout method should I use. That doesn't really matter. How do I do my taxes and all of that? You just need to focus on making money from the markets, and that's basically it at the start. So beginners, just focus on making money. Don't focus on all this stuff. Once you grow your capital, you're gonna see you need to manage your capital very, very well. You need to manage your risk very, very well, and that's when a trade copier comes in. So as I said, that's what I use. Always on this channel I'm gonna give my personal bias on the tools I use, the platforms I use, just because it comes from a very pure, let's say, and real and transparent trader, because I'm not affiliated with any tool. You're never gonna see any affiliation links from me, maybe just my broker that I used, but that's about it. I never did any affiliation with any platform, even if I gave my honest opinion. Now with trade copiers, I don't, as I said, I'm not gonna promote anything specifically, just my personal opinion and what I use successfully, because it may help traders also. As a journal at the moment, because I get that question quite a lot also, as a journal I like to use TradeZilla. Again, no affiliation with them, but I think it's a very, very good tool to manage your trades, to track your results and all of that, because it gives some nice stats. So maybe I will do a video where I go over the stats for basically the last month, because it was, as I said, a 6-figure profit month. But that's about it for this video. If you enjoy videos, quicker videos like this, where I just give my opinion on the questions I get asked, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down in the video. Don't forget to join the free Telegram group if you want to make some money and understand how the market works. It's completely free, and I'll see you there.